Yeah, it's almost mincha.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
You want the orange juice? You can have it first. No.
So the discussion is now standing up for a Sefer Torah, and there's a few different parts of the Shaila. There's during Psicha, the standing up then. There's during Rosh Hashanah. Shaila is for standing up for the Sefer Torah.
Okay.
So first of all, by Psicha Sa'aron, you have a Shaila about for older people, it's hard for them, or for Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, so someone's having a hard time standing up the whole time. Also for standing up for Yiskar. When they're standing up at the Torah, they have to stand up, right? And in 770, you can wait for 10 minutes until that empties out while they're standing there with the Sefer Torah. So that's one part of the discussion. Then standing up for Kriyas HaTorah is a separate discussion. So I'm not sure if I'll have time to squeeze it in. But sorry for standing up for the Sefer Torah. One is being carried. So what's the mucker for standing up for the Sefer Torah? So the Gemara says we learn out of the Kal V'Chomer from standing up for a Talmud Chacham. We know someone stands up for a Talmud Chacham, someone who learns Torah. So the Gemara says, Kol Shekein, you have to stand up for the Torah itself. That's in the first Maramach, in the Gemara in Kedushin, Lam Gimel Amud Beis says, Ibayu Lahu, Mahu Lamei Mipnei Sefer Torah. Do you need to stand up for a Torah? Rav Chilkiya, Rav Simon, Rabbi Elazar, Amri Kal V'Chomer. He said it's a Kal V'Chomer. Mipnei Leim Deh Imdi Mipnei Halei Kol Shekein. When Talmidei Chachamim are going to stand up, Kol Shekein for the actual Torah itself. There's a tshuva from Elisha, so Derech Agav, while he's talking the tshuva, you see that he holds the din of standing up for a Sefer Torah as a din d'oraisa. So just like standing up for a Talmud Chacham, we learn out from Pasuk, it's a chiyuv on Torah to stand up. So he says, so too over here you have a Kal V'Chomer, you learn it for the Torah itself. It's also a din d'oraisa standing up for a Sefer Torah.
Because of the Kal V'Chomer. The Kal V'Chomer is that makes it
it's a real limit.
And they say with Takum, so
yeah. If Nisei Takum, it's not only for so Kol Shekein for this.
Actually, Chassidus no, would maybe be even higher, and the Sham.
Oh, you mean the Sefer? Yeah, but you don't use it's
so this is. That's the makkah. That's the makkah of the din for standing up for Sefer Torah.
You said standing up. Yom Kippur that you stand the whole time. Stand up.
So we didn't get over here. We're talking about someone's carrying a Sefer Torah. We didn't get to that yet. Someone's walking with a Sefer Torah. Let's say just someone's walking with a Sefer Torah.
So from there you stand up for a second.
It depends. We'll see. Also, we see there's two different categories. That's in the second Aramakim. So there's two different types of Talmidei Chachamim you could stand up for. There's a Talmud Muvak and Rabbi Muvak and Rabbi Sheini Muvak. So second Aramakim, Lamed Gimel Amud Aleph, the Gemara says, Tana Izu Kima Sheish Bahidur. What type of standing up do you need to stand up? Do you need to do to respect somebody? Savi Eimer Zed Dalan Amis. While he's in your Dalan Amis, you have to stand up for him. So Amr Abayi, Loi Amran, this that we said you only have to stand up when he's in your Dalan Amis. El Rabbi Sheini Muvak. He's not your Rebbe who taught you most of your Torah. You learn some things from him.
He has to be within your Dalan.
He's not. Yeah, it's not really Chachmasi. Ava Rabbi Hamuvak Mloyini. But it's a Rabbi Muvak. So then, as soon as you see it and until it's out of your sight, you have to stand up. As soon as you see him and it's out of your sight, you have to stand up for him. So the Sefer Torah, we treat it like the din of Rabbi Muvak.
You could probably have a whole shir just on the topic of this is Rabbi Shein Muvak and Rabbi Muvak.
Yeah.
But we won't digress.
So the Sefer Torah has we treat it like the din of Rabbi Muvak. And the Mela is from when it comes into your sight, from when you could see it until it's out of your sight, you have to stand up for the Torah. So Shaila is what if you're in 770 and you're trying to learn on Monday or Thursday, and every 2 minutes another Sefer Torah is passing by. So you have to stop learning every 2 seconds to stand up.
So you're learning, you won't even know the Sefer Torah came by.
But if you notice it, you hear the bells dinging.
That's what I tell them by Ashir. That's what I say by Ashir. You know, people hear Kedusha like 5 minutes before it starts. If you're learning, you don't
See if you don't notice it, if you're involved. Yeah. The Gemara says that.
As a matter of fact, today you guys didn't even notice.
But the Poskim point out that Poskim say that you need to stand up even if you're in the middle of learning. We learned that out from the Talmud Chacham. If the Talmud Chacham is passing by and you're in the middle of learning, you have to stop. So the Gemara brings a shayla, and the Maskana halach is that you do. And go jump to this 11th Maramakim. I should have put it earlier. The 11th Maramakim on the other side, last one. The Gemara Kedushin on the Gimel and Beis says, Rabbi Loiv, Rabbi Yaakov Bar Zavdi, Havayasvi. They were sitting, they were learning. Chalifa Azal, Rabbi Shimon Bar Abba. Rabbi Shimon Bar Abba passed by. The Kavu Mikame. They stood up before him. Armelhu Klum Teire Medes Mipnei Lindel. Says, does the Torah ever stand up for the people who are learning it? I mean, why are you standing up for me? Because I'm a person who knows Torah. But you're in the middle of learning Torah itself. You're going to stop learning Torah to stand up for someone who's learning Torah. And the Gemara says, Savar Lak Rabbi Lazar, the Omar, Rabbi Lazar, Ein Talmud Chacham Rashi Lami Mipnei Rabbi. Kishasha Isek B'Torah. He says the Talmud Chacham is not allowed to stand up for his teacher when he's in the middle of learning. Because it's the Torah itself. You're not going to stand up for someone who's learning for a Talmud Chacham. So then the Gemara says, Light Allah Abaye. Abaye cursed this. Rashi says, right, he says he cursed people who would be noyeg like Rabbi Elazar, wouldn't stand up for Talmidei Chachamim because they're busy learning. He is so lahalacha and Shulchan Aruch says you have to stand up.
Is it because he felt they weren't learning properly, or because what? That's my question.
I don't know. I want to see a Hezver. So I looked into the Lavush. He usually gives a biurin a lot of times for dinner. So he just says she'inu mevatel teira v'kach. You're not going to be mevatel teira from standing up for your Rebbe. You'll stand up. You'll sit like that.
Stop learning.
No, not that. Because you're doing this Torah and you're doing that Torah.
He didn't explain. You're saying it's all the Hasidim. They would spend a lot of time davening. So the Torah's mishtaberes. I'm not sure what he meant. I don't know if he meant just because it's a small amount of time, or it's on the schus of Kavod HaTorah, you're not going to lose out. So the Pei also, this is the din by so we learn out from Talmud. So it's just like by Talmud Chacham, you have to stand up even in middle learning. The Mela also for a Sefer Torah passing by, even in middle learning, you have to stand up.
So who's the halacha?
That is the halacha that you have to stand up, like Abaye, Light Allah Abaye. In Shulchan Aruch, that's the psak. You have to stand up. Even if you're in the middle of learning. So that's...
You're standing up really difficult. You're still talking whatever you're doing.
Well, no, that was the point I was trying to make, but I don't know if that's...
You're being mechaber this Torah, you're being mechaber this Torah, it's all Torah. Learning, looking, honoring, it's all Torah.
So you're saying, ain't simcha... You're not allowed to have two simchas. No, that's true too. You're not allowed to have do two simchas at the same time.
No, here's saying put in
what? Yeah, thank you. Is that the word over here?
No, here the word is that by substituting this Torah for this Torah, I'm not taking away from Torah.
But one's limud and one's covered.
It's all Torah, that's what he's saying, it's all Torah.
Menschen wissen nicht, seine mechabed de Torah, aber nicht der Lomdeo. Ich will sich da mal in Pink in der Posse.
Maybe that's higher, being Mekabel Torah without understanding it, it's maybe higher.
So let's go weiter.
What do we want to cut?
So
does somebody want it? Yeah, let's get some.
The Aruch HaShulchan says important din that the din of standing for a Sefer Torah isn't only if you're sitting and you stand and the Sefer Torah is coming. Also, if you're walking and the Sefer Torah is standing by, you have to stop for it and wait till it passes by. In the third Maramakim, Aruch HaShulchan says, "Harei Sefer Torah kishehu mahalich," while the Sefer Torah is walking, chayiv lami mipanav. Actually, it maybe means when you're walking. Kishehu mahalich, chayiv lami
mipanav. If you're walking away from it, or even if you're walking towards it. Or
either way,
if you're walking.
Either way, if you're walking, you have to stay in your place. That's for the Torah.
It's like like an emergency vehicle. You're driving, you have to
stop. Makes sense.
No, you can't go towards Sefer Torah and give it a push.
We're not talking about that.
Yeah, but I'm saying is you're standing for the you're not just
in your desk. You're doing whatever you're doing. You
can't just casually walk by the Sefer Torah while it's passing.
Yeah. No, definitely to walk towards the Sefer Torah, kiss it is a sign of covet. That's nobody's going to argue that.
Yes, he teaches us kalema ben kishu yeshi both if you're sitting sarich lamed ben kishu haylech v'hasefer Torah iver lefanav, whether if you're walking it's passing by in front of you sarich lamed ansha sefer Torah iveres. You need to stay in one place until the Sefer Torah passes by. So that's an interesting thing I didn't know about. Even not just to stand up, but it's passing by, you also have to stop. Fine. So the shayla is in which Aifanim do you not need to stand up for the Torah? So there are two close like Aifanim that you don't need to stand up for the Torah. The first one is there's a tshuva from the Rashba. The Rashba, someone was complaining to the Rashba that people don't stand up by Hagbah in his shul. So the Rashba says these things Me'ikar Din is not a problem because it's in a Rishus La'atzmei. It's on the Bima. It's a separate Rishus. And in Me'ilef, so if the Torah is on a separate Rishus, there's no chiyuv to stand up. He says the minig is how you do stand up for a Hagbah, so that's what we do. But he says Me'ikar Din, since in different Rishus, you don't need to. So the fourth Maramakim.
That's only if you have a proper bima with the things around it.
So it needs to be 10 tvachim.
Like
10 tvachim.
You wouldn't have that.
Oh, so we'll see. The Taz. Well, it could.
What do you mean?
We'll see. The bima is 10 tvachim.
Yeah, but the bima is not counting.
We'll see the Taz. According to the Taz, it is. According to the Taz, it is. Meaning while it's on the bima.
No, but we're
you said while you're carrying it.
I'm talking about the
while
Hagbah. You mentioned that.
Oh yeah.
So if you have
Yeah.
a proper bima like in 1070 or like in the shuls and whatever, it's a raised thing, and it even has a thing around it. It's mukuf, like usually.
Yeah.
Then you can say a separate rishus. You can argue a separate rishus, but in a place like this, you have to argue that.
Yeah, so see the tshuva, the fourth Maramakim. It says, Masha shel masha'in hakol imdim kan b'shosha sech sibar mara haksav la'am. When he shows the letter, when he shows the Torah to everyone, Yishal es heich efshar lahem shel yamdu. How could it be that they don't stand? So it says tshuva. He says, Lefisha hu b'makim echad v'atzib b'makim achar. Since they're in two different places, ve'ein adam chayiv lami mipnei rabbi kishehu oimei lamayla bebeisei v'atalmid lamata al gavei karka. In your house, if your Rebbe is walking around upstairs and you're downstairs, you don't have to stand up for him. He's in a different room. So aval kol. So therefore, so to here by the Torah is in different rishus. It's on the vim. You don't need to stand up. Aval kol shemitzi in Sefer Torah min ha'heichel. But from when you take it out of the Aron Kodesh ad shemaylin oisei leduchon until you bring it up, imdin hakol al amdom. The kol needs to stand up. Mikariv ro ksas migdeli Yisrael v'hatziver sheish lamed gam be'eis sheshlech ziver zekfei. But recently I seen from Gdei Yisrael in many places that they stand up also when the Sheikh Sipra picks up the Sefer Torah or Marak Sav when he does Hagbah. But Amru Li calls them Mikavot Torah that it's all mitzvah Kavod Torah that they're doing this. This is what most of the places are doing. He says fine. He said v'chol shetoyan in sheish by Kavod Torah. Kavi Sefer Torah, Re'isi Lachmash. If it's anything people the minhag that people doing this on the Kavi Sefer Torah, you should be chayshish.
In the beginning to say it says Yesh Matirin for a Hagbah on a Bimeh. But L'Payel Roi Lachmash. That's right.
The time about Tichya Sefer is to stand up for a few seconds by Hagbah. And we're not old, but thank God. We'll get there.
So the shayla is for Alta mention. So this tshuva is brought down by the Ramon Shulchan Aruch that when the sefer is on the bima, you don't need to stand up for it. And the Taz takes it a step further. He says also if it's on a table, if it's sitting on a table, which is 10 tvachim high, it's also a rishus la'atzmi. You don't need to stand up for it. That's in the fifth Maramakim. Also the Taz over here he brings up the shayla about the Aron Kodesh. You open up the Aron Kodesh, you need to stand up for the Torah. He says, according to the same sort, it's in its own rishus. You don't need to stand up.
The psicha alone is not enough to. But what about the psicha with the matara of taking out? So it's already part of the whole thing.
But it's not moving. It's not the chiv is the only one that's moving. So let's read the Taz. It says, "Kasha sefer Torah ala bima." When the sefer is on the bima, you don't need to stand up. So the Taz says, "Nira dehu adin nami al hashulchan shu gavaya miyut tvachim." So to a table which is higher than 10 tvachim, v'reichav arban is 4 tvachim wide. Shegam hu rishus b'fnei atzmei she'in sreichin lami. You don't need to stand up for it. V'gam, that's one thing. V'gam bizman shah sefer Torah munachas ba'arin kodesh. Also, when it's in the Aron Kodesh, afal pishu pasuach, even though it's open, elash, you also don't need to stand up because it's in its own rishus. It says elash ha'olam oisin kein derech kavid lamed kol sha'arin kodesh pasuach ve'ein chiv v'davar. So however l'pel the minhag is that we stand up for psichos arin. Well, there's no chiv. He says only time a minhag. Ramesha, there's a tshuva. He says what type of minhag it is. A minhag could also be a chiyuv. There's a lot of minhagim we do. Kitnius is also a minhag, but it's became now it's a chiyuv. It's a chiyuv to keep the minhag. So he's done what type of minhag is it? See, and then he wants to say that he means it's not a minhag mitam chiyuv. It's a minhag mitam that is the midas chasidus, but it's not. You're not being over on Isra if you don't stand up for psicha. But you stand up for psicha. The shaila over here is when you could be mekel on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur.
Right, that's what I was saying. I would say minig is now by us. It's wrong by regular psicha when you take it out. But if it's Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, when not everybody stands up every time, then it would be a midas chassidus.
So a lot of places say that if someone is hard for them to stand up for a long time, Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur is hard. So if the Aron is open for a long time, there's room to be mekel. You can be mekel to sit down.
There's specific kinas where the newer Siddurim have all the exact ha'aris about. So not by all of them does it say that you have to stand, but there are certain ones that it's accepted that you stand. There's certain times when
you
use your own seichel.
That's more mitzad. That's more mitzad the tefillah.
Most of the time it says minhagi and Rebbe. It doesn't say
stand.
No, whenever it says those things, it says minhagi and Rebbe.
But you're right. It's because of the tefillah, the china, whatever it is that you yes.
Yaakov,
good point.
So the Aruch HaShulchan questions the din of the Taz that the table is also considered a reshus la'atzmi. He says maybe it's only when it's a binyan, it's on the top of a bima, it's on top of a platform. Maybe only then it's considered a separate reshus. So in the 6th Marmafim, it says V'da V'zeh Shabima Chilekas Reshus la'atzma V'stafka Kishasuya Kibinyan V'hi Gavaya. If you're reading on a table near the Hakol Kereshus Achas, the table, even though it's 10 Tvachim high, it's all one Reshus. And he brings the Taz. V'yesh Misha Kosav the Gama Hashulchan Hu Im Hu Gavaya Asara Tvachim V'Rachav Arba 10 Tvachim high and 4 wide have Reshus Atzmi the Taz. It says Lashon Rabbeinu Rahama Mashma Dafka Al Habima. It's Dafka on a bima. It's a binyan.
Right, because that's what it was. Normally, it's Sefer Torah, and the shul is a bima.
Right.
But not to be shayla the shulchan.
Yeah, it could be
mashma is mashma bima because that's the uvda.
No, but when he says bima, he means that it's a reshus la'atzmi, not like this. This is called the bima too.
A table in the reshus la'atzmi is a reshus la'atzmi. A table in the reshus la'atzmi is a reshus la'atzmi. It is, I think.
This is not even.
It's what do they call it? The makan or whatever.
Oh, you mean for Shabbos?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a reshus la'atzmi. The only reason he mentioned bima is because that's what's in the shul. You don't lay it on the shul.
I skipped a lot of the rest of the Lachon, but I think right afterwards he mentions that. It could be he was just talking the derech, since the derech was the bima.
Yeah.
Siehst du different von der Zabin Tachles. So a bima geht mit steps und mit der gate around.
That's the Shaila Aruch HaShulchan. The Taz says that a bima just by itself is 10 Tvachim high. It's also just last you not to stand for the table. But Aruch HaShulchan questions is Mash Medafke if it's a binyan is standing on a whole high thing, then it's a reshus atzmi. Right? So that's one machlekes. But L'Peil, even besides for the heta of the Taz that the bima is considered reshus atzmi, but L'Peil anyways the holidays you don't have to stand up because there's another din that you only have to stand up in the Sefer Torah when it's being moved around when it hasn't reached its final destination. But if it reaches final destination where you're bringing it to and you put it then you don't need to stand.
That's a we visit.
When
it's on the bima, you don't stand. You don't let everyone stand.
Some bimas on our Kodesh have like a wall around them.
Right. So but we're leaving that alone now. Now we're talking about the cloud. That the only time that you have to think about standing or not is if it's en route. It's in the middle of.
So meaning you're saying even if you didn't have this, even if you have a bima like this, and still there wouldn't be any problem because once the Torah is settled in its final destination, it's not being moved around. You don't need to stand up for it. This is jump to go to the 8th Maramakim. The 7, the Panim Iris, he also argues with the Taz. He wants to say that you have to stand up for Psicha when the Aron is open. But L'Peil, Mikar, then most of the placing take on that it's not a Chiv, it's only Sad Minhag. 8th Maramakim, Shulchan Aruch says, and there Siman Reish Pei Beis, Harei Sefer Torah kishu mahalich, while it's moving, he's chayv lami lefanov, v'yu hakol imdim, and everyone should be standing either at sheyamid, zeshem elichiv yagenu l'mkayme, until he stops and he reaches his place, or yashi iskasem or until it's out of your sight. So you see from the Shulchan Aruch over here that the whole din of standing over the Sefer Torah is only while it's being moved around. It didn't reach its final destination. Once it reaches place, it's fine. So it's also sitting on the bima, and while it's on the bima, that's why you don't have to stand up, because it's not en route, it's not moving around. Based on this, the Pri Megadim says that also by Yizkar, when the Chazanim are standing holding the Sefer Torah, he says you also don't need to stand up.
But you should never know from it. But the meaning of the Babich, they hold the.
No, even if you're holding it, even if you're holding the Sefer Torah,
at its destination.
It's not. You're not carrying it around. Even if you're holding it.
No, when the person said he should hold on. Everybody should touch the.
By saying so, everyone stands up to come to.
Those who know.
Right. Yeah, the minhag. Yeah, everyone stands up at Yizkar anyways. But Medina.
I think Moritz was putting the sport in the and then I don't know when they changed the picking it up. I don't know if it's like that all the time picking it up.
It's not true, it's few meanings. One meaning is specific to it, but other is not. He has to stand with open when they take out the Sefer Torah, the other meaning.
When they're carrying, if they're moving around to the Sefer Torah, you have to stand up. If they're just standing by the bima saying Yizkar, you don't need to.
No, I think
the Shaila is in 7.
In Shul there's many meanings, like here, and here. There is no best. Yeah,
if you see the Torah, you need to stand
up. They have
up.
to stand.
Yeah. Okay, even
they say
if you see the Sefer Torah moving, yes.
If you see the Sefer Torah, you need to stand up.
If it's
yes.
If it's in your
Torah's mahalach, and was that this not
Yeah,
after the day, so what does it say? After
like in 770, that's
a matter of
first steps, and you can't see it anymore.
You have to stand all the time because
right, I guess so.
I'm sure when the Rebbe was around, that you couldn't see it.
Right.
It got past your crush.
So there's a Pri Megadim, the 9th Makim. He says din about Yizkar. He says v'chein Sefer Torah b'yad hachazan. The chazan holding Sefer Torah k'shemaski neshamas ukadema b'mkayme mikri. It's also considered as if it's in its place. And ein tzarich lamed afilu b'rshus achas mamash. Even if it's in the same rishus. So usually I'm saying the minhag is we stand up for Yizkar anyways.
So for sure on a bima not. For sure on a bim, if the chazan's holding it in one place, we say it's not considered moving.
Yeah.
For sure a bima, even without platform.
Usually this isn't so negia because I'm saying you stand up for Yizkar anyways, whereas negia is in 770, right? You're waiting for 10 minutes until the whole place empties out. So it's a long time. So side's on a bima and side they're standing in one place, so you could sit down. So that's another one shayla. So another shayla comes up is about Simchas Torah. While they're dancing by hakafas, so you get tired, you want to sit down, take a break.
But this if they're moving. This is a good one.
So the Aruch HaShulchan says he wants to be machner. And in 10th Makim, he says, "V'yishli makim safek v'simchas Torah ve'is ha'akafis shenitin kol sifrei Torah me'aheichel." You take them all out. Ve'imach zirin le'isam ad achar gemar kol ha'akafis. You don't put them back until you're finished. Rak mischalfim yad yad. You pass one person to another. Until you put it back. He says, it's a grace of tircha. They can take 2 hours sometimes to leave.
Yeah, the good akafis in there, huh?
Not only by the Hasidim.
Usually you can't sit anyway because they throw all the benches outside.
It says Venir Alinias Daiti the Beishem Savin Ima Sifrei Torah Savi Abima Muchiyavim Lamed. He says while they're dancing, moving around, Takim Muchiv to stand. The Zel Kamesha Sefer Torah Iveres. And for Bein Siva V'Siva, when they're in between the Hakafes. Yeah. Siva V'Siva Kishmachzik M'Sefer Torah V'Yedehim Einam Strichim Lamed. You don't need to stand up. The Oz have a Sefer Torah Al Mekayim. It's in its place. The Kashia Mekayim Ben Menucha V'Adei She'einin Sarich Lamed Mipanel. Certainly you don't need to stand up.
And there's in between. But actually, most of the time it's moving around.
Right.
Most of the 2 hours it's moving around.
לגבי פסיך הסרון קודש nicht kriegst du teure. Du hast gesagt, ist mir 50 Stein.
Nein, das sagt nicht, aber der Minig ist zu stehen noch.
Jo.
Die Minig ist zu stehen noch.
Jeden Mut, wenn man macht auf den...
Es ist nicht Achil. Es ist nicht Achil. Es ist nicht Achil. Nicht Achil, aber die Minig ist ein Minig.
So wie jung man fühlt.
Hergisch.
Yeah, that's okay.
Age.
What's the Hagish? Yeah, the view of staying.
So this is all Lagabe standing up for the Torah while it's moving. Lagabe standing up for the Torah while it's for Kriyas HaTorah. So that's a separate discussion. Mikra din, you don't need to. It's on a bima. It's in one place. It's the full of days. You don't need to stand up. And the Shaim is on the Kriyas HaTorah. So the din is that the Balkede, they need to stand up.
Is the answer for us?
They need to stand up. Medina.
They didn't say that?
Medina, they need to stand up. Either Mitzad Kavidat Tzibur, or Mitzad Kavidat Torah, just like the Torah was given Beresvas Be'ema, and they were standing up by Mountain Torah, so too when you're reading the Torah. And the Shaila is, what about, so for certainly the people who are by the Bima, what about the Shaiman? Do they also need to? So it's a Machlekes, so the Torah brings down Peskim, the Sar Shalom, that he says you don't need to. There's a pasuk. The Shaila is there's a pasuk which says that.
Shafir's going to sit here next week on the side.
There's a pasuk that says
the
Shame him not.
The guys involved definitely have to be standing.
Why? Who's he talking about? You're saying the Shame.
The Shaiman.
But what did you say? Just the Balkeda.
The Balkeda and the person going up for the Aliyah.
Oh, he said the Alum.
He didn't say that Gavayim.
Yeah, but that would be covered. You're right there by the Torah.
I think that's the Gan.
Was in der Mische Berach, die Menschen dürfen stehen.
Mische Berach Menschen.
This is special head.
Das ist nicht mehr Zeit von Leben.
So during the Mische Berach, you don't need to stand up. So the Shaila is a pasuk. There's a pasuk says Pischei Amdu Kala Pischei Amdu Kala. So the Shaila is, but when the Torah is out, you need to stand up. So the Gemara in Megillah brings this pasuk, and the Gemara learns out from there that Amdu Kala learns out from there you're not allowed to talk during Kriyas HaTorah. The Taisha Midah is in Lashon Shtika. You have to keep quiet. So the one that sort of Sar Shalom, the Torah brings down, says that it was a Amida means shtika, so you can sit down. The only problem is you can't talk during Kriyas HaTorah.
The Chlal Amida shtika, not the Chlal shtika Amida.
So the Maram, so the Archimage brings down that the Maram Takad Minuk, he would stand up for Kriyas HaTorah. He would stand up during Kriyas HaTorah. Shaila is why. So the Bat says that it's only mitame minhag mitzad, just like the Kabbalah Torah was me'ima v'yira. So too, when you hear the Torah, you should stand up. Well, it wasn't mitam chiyuv. The Taz, he argues, he says no, pshat and aram is mitam chiyuv. He says true that pshat amida the shtika, but the pasha pshat is he stand up. You have to stand up and stay quiet. Doesn't mean it's not like Fuki standing up. You also have to stand up. So this is a machlekes. And the Shulchan Aruch and the Chaber says that you don't need to stand up. The Ramah says v'yish machmirin v'imdim between us and Aram. So the Taz says you have to do it. The Mishabura brings out a place and say you make also. It's not a clear. There isn't a clear psak what to do. The Chaim Vital says that Arizal he didn't stand up. He took a sat. Arizal. So Arizal Taka had a minute. The Arizal Taka was sit by Kriyas HaTorah.
No talking with all days.
We saw that the Rebbe sat.
What? After Lamed Ches. After. So until Lamed Ches, the Rebbe stood up like Kriyas HaTorah. After Lamed Ches. And the Rebbe said.
Es ist da ein Unterschied, stehen oder nicht stehen in Kriyas HaTorah, ob das ist ein Zabim oder Rabim Mukefes?
Nicht mehr. Nein, es ist ein Unterschied, ob sie Bime mit Trepp.
Mit Trepp. Leinien stehen in der Kriye. Das macht das Shinui.
Mit Steps.
Das macht das. Nicht nur der Step, nur der Steps.
I think so. It's Misad Shmiras HaTorah. Misad has to be Me'im V'yira. It's not that. It's not the Torah's mahalacha, so the Torah's going.
I feel him haltis. Now we're saying even if you hold it in one place,
right?
It went down.
No, but we said but is on the beam on a 10 fachim, it's good.
Okay, aber in der Mische Becher darf man nicht stehen. Das ist mehr Zeit von der Kriege.
Das ist der Holiday.
No, well, the einzige day of was medarf is to leave the Kriya, not to leave the Torah.
Right.
At this point, right now, the only reason that medarf yesh stand is.
And let's remember that Arizal didn't stand.
And let's remind ourselves.
Keep focused.
Der Taz hat gesagt, dass darf hier stehen. Der Taz, David, der Taz ist gegeben vor der Arizal.
Der Kein hat gesagt,
der Taz ist gegeben vor der Arizal.
Aber der Arizal hat gesagt, dass es gesund ist, und auf der